Hi guys, Alan from Newlands Nursery, and this is today's 5-minute Friday. Now I know not all of you will watch this video as soon as it comes out, but we're filming basically in the middle between Christmas and New Year, and this is a fantastic thing to do in that period of time, or the time where you've opened all your presents up and you just want to do something outside or do something a bit physical, and not that physical, but something that's really nice to do in that period of time. And we're going to take cuttings from this aluminium plant, this Pilea. It's a fantastic house plant. It's nice and easy to grow, and it works. If you watch previous videos we've done, it works really well in a mixed planted container, as well as looking nice on its own. And actually, if you're looking for a starter house plant for yourself, this is a great one to go for. And you can combine that with actually learning how to take cuttings, because it's quite simple when you get to do it, but as with everything, it takes a little bit of practice. So I've got my plant, and this is the one we're going to take cuttings from. I've got a cell tray. We're not going to take this many cuttings, but I just picked up one that we had laying around. So what I'm going to do is add some compost into here. Okay. So I'll just top that up. We don't want to compact the soil, which I'm sure you've heard me say before, but we want a good covering. We don't want any air gaps or anything like that. And because we're taking cuttings, any big fibrous bits, I'll take that out, just because it can be a bit of a pain. So what I'll do is I'll tap this down, and you'll see when I did that, if we zoom in here, this cell in particular sunk a lot. So that's much more effective by tapping down to get rid of the air gaps than pushing on the compost. If you push on the compost, you're going to compact it, and the whole idea of doing this is to encourage roots to grow, and the more compact the compost is, the harder it will be for the plant to produce roots. And we don't want to make it hard for it, we want to make it as easy and as simple as possible. Okay. So I've got a nice level surface there. So this is the plant we're going to take the cuttings from. Okay, so let me find one that we can easily see so I can show you. So if we zoom in here, what I'm going to do is cut the stem, and I'm going to cut it here. Okay, this will actually encourage the plant to branch out here, so you're actually doing a lot of good for the plant as well. But I want to cut it so we've got enough stem to place into the compost, so I'm going to cut it just there. Now you'll notice fairly obviously, just like that, I'm doing it with scissors, and some people will say, if I put that in my hand, I'll show you, some people will say that this will get crushed when you do it with scissors, and there is an element of truth to that. We do it with scissors for two reasons: for speed, although on the nursery we do take cuttings with scalpels and knives and stuff as well. We also do it for safety. We have a lot of people who follow along these with children, and to be honest, scalpels just are unbelievably sharp, and scissors are that much safer. Okay, so once I've got this cut in here, for me, I've got just a bit too much leaf on here. I want to reduce the amount of leaves that are on there. So if I place this on the table, and if we can zoom in there, I'm going to take this leaf off and this leaf off as close to the stem as I can, just like that. Okay, and then I'll re-look at it again. So there's a possibility I might even take this bottom one off, just like that. Okay, and that one there gives me more of a stem to push into the compost, but it also means that the plant isn't going to lose as much water. Okay, so moisture and water are one of the key, if not the most important parts to get right. Warmth and light and all that sort of stuff as well, but moisture is the one that you can easily control. So we like it nice and moist. So before I get started, I'll grab before I plant this, and that will be fine like that for half an hour or so. You plant it as soon as you can, but it's fine for half an hour or so. I'm going to water the cell. Like I said, it's a big cell tray. I'm just showing you what to do. So I don't need to water all of it. What you'll find with water, when you're watering compost, especially if it hasn't had a huge amount of water in it for a little while, it'll take a little bit of time to sink in. So we wait for that to sink in a little bit. And as it does, you just water it a little bit more. We're at the stage where we're taking a cut in, we're at the stage where basically it's almost impossible to overwater it. I'm not saying it is definitely impossible, but almost impossible. In fact, these plants will water. What am I talking about? These plants will root directly in water. So it shows you how much humidity and moisture they really, really like. So you can see here, the water's sunk in nicely. So it's nice and wet. Okay, and that's the level we want to keep it at while we're trying to get the plant to root. So I grab my cutting and I'm going to plant it in this corner one here. So what I'm going to do, just with the scissors, you can use a dipper or a pencil or whatever, I'll make a nice hole in there. We don't want to bruise the end of this really, so we want a nice deep hole. Doesn't matter if it's slightly too deep, and we just pop the plant in. And once we've done that, if you lift the leaves up slightly, you can just push the compost around the plant. It's as simple as that. So that is your cutting. That is done. That is ready to put where you're gonna actually get it to root and grow. And with a plant like this, and lots of plants, but with a plant like this in particular, we want the humidity to be relatively high. So if you've got a glass house lid, you can put that on top, or you could use a plastic bag if you're doing it in a pot or something like that. And we want the temperature to be relatively high. Now the majority, if not all of house plants will root really, really well at the average room temperature in this country, in the UK. So that is, I don't know, 18, 20, 22 degrees is absolutely perfect, and that will root really, really well at that temperature. So keep them at that temperature, make sure the compost doesn't dry out, and other than that you'll have a brand new plant before you know it. Any questions at all, get in contact, we're here to help. See you soon.